Hello, software developers. Welcome to our channel once again. So this is the second part of our Django series. I gladly welcome you to this series because we are going to develop a lot of things. In our first tutorial, we actually knew what Django is, a web framework for Python. And we understood that the other Python frameworks like Flask, Bottle, FastAPI, and the rest, but Django seems to be the most popular. And towards the end of the class, after setting up everything, we were able to create an app. We discussed what an app is, more like a microservice for Django. So we're able to create an app called front end, right? So this front end, we registered it here on our settings.py file. Yeah, so under the list of installed apps, we registered front end here. That's why we have this comment, right? So after that, we're able to run our server by running this command python manage.py run server. Okay, so once we do that, we can go over to our browser and try localhost 8000, and this works successfully, letting us know that our installation worked successfully without any issues. So today we'll continue from where we stopped yesterday. So at the end of today's class, you'll be able to create pages with Django, okay? Set up templates, organize templates, work with views and URLs. These are the typical practice with Django, and it's really fun to work with. Just you have to sit tight and understand that this is a learning process. I wouldn't call it complex. I wouldn't call it difficult, but you have to get this part right. Otherwise, you run far away from Django. Most of my students dare to work with Django because of the initial configuration and the foundation, which they describe as being difficult. But for physics, nothing is difficult. Everything can be easily explained. That's our main goal and objective, to break down complex topics, complex things in programming and IT into very simple things, okay? So we are here to help you achieve that. So part two, we'll be talking about how to organize templates, work with views, and work with URLs, okay? So we want to start by creating templates, okay? Template files like HTML files, index.html. I hope you get the vibes. And we should be able to use them within our apps in Django. So to achieve this, we need a templates folder. Let me spell it. We need a templates folder. Let me make this bigger. So we need what we call templates folder, spelled like this with S. Okay. So why am I emphasizing this? I give instructions, and if you fail to adhere to those instructions, you may face problems later on, and it might be difficult to sort them out, okay, even when you ask AI. All right, so notice how I spell these templates, all lowercase with S. All right, so to achieve this, we need to create a folder called templates, okay? This is where Django looks for template files, okay? Such as about us.html, contact us.html, index.html files. Okay, so we have to create this folder exactly verbatim as it is. So let's talk about Django folder structure first. Now, every Django app has its own uh, set of templates to keep its HTML files, right? So we need these templates to organize template files for each of the apps. So inside the templates folder, you as a developer can store your HTML files directly, or create subfolders for further organization, especially if you have multiple apps. For example, for our front-end app here, for this our front-end app, let me close this. For our front-end app, we need a structure that will look like front-end, something like this. To look like, let me remove this. Okay, so it will look like front-end. Okay, and we have, let me use this. So front-end and templates, yeah, is already here. Okay, so we have front end again. Then inside of this front end, we have our index.html, for example, about.html, and so on and so forth, contact and the rest, right? So this is how to organize stuff here. Now notice this is your main front end. I call this project folder, like file project folder. How would I call that? Like system project folder, right? But this one is the, how should I call this? This is the Django project folder. Okay, so this is the Django project folder. Sorry, this is our company. Okay, so this is the main project folder, and this is our DJ project folder, and this is our app, right? So this is our app, and we have our templates where Django looks for to find HTML pages, your pages, right? So these are templates folder, so we don't need to comment that. And here is another subfolder you just put under templates so that you can organize your files. So this is the project structure. You can pause this video for a while and look at the project structure. So this is your project. This company now is this one. This company, not this one, this one. Okay. And of course, on the same level, we have front end, which is this one, and we need now to create templates for the front end, right? So we click on front end first because we want to put it inside front end. Then we click on this one is file. We click on this one, which is folder, and we name it exactly as, let me make this bigger. Okay, can't be bigger than that. Maybe I can scroll this one. So we name this, please zoom in. Sorry about that. So we name this templates, exactly how Django knows it. Okay, because it's in the settings configuration. Yeah. Okay. So we name these templates under this front end. And again, we have another front end. So we need another folder here where we have front end. And there, please just make sure you don't mistakenly click this one again or this one. So what you need is to click on this inner front end, this sub front end. Before this time, you don't click on new folder again. You click on new file to create an index.html file inside of front end. Okay, so that's the way you set up stuff, and it looks exactly like this, right? So I think we are done with that step. So once you are done with that step, the next step will be Django template loading. Okay, Django template loading. So when you render a template in a view, okay, when you render a template in a view, example index.html, Django looks for that template folder. All right. So we have created the template structure. Okay. So One other thing we can do now is um, let's create a basic HTML file. Let's create a basic HTML file for this our new template. All right. So something very basic HTML. Do I still remember how to write HTML? Funny. Okay. Some of us, when we start learning another language, we forget the former ones we knew. So let's just have head, nothing inside of it, but let's have body. And let's just write here, this is rendered. Let me make this shorter. Oh, wow, this is rendered Django. Okay, so this looks good. Okay, we can just put something here, title from Django. Okay, this looks good. All right, so we have this small HTML page just to show you what you can place in your index.html. But even if you come here, nothing changes. All right, nothing changes. So what we need to do now is to learn how to start working with views. Okay, so views is a kind of a presentation layer. Okay, that you actually use to create functions. I'm trying to define it in a way you understand easily. So you actually put your functions and your uh, functionalities, your project functionalities in it. And yeah, so it will present it through these templates for you to see. All right. So once we understand views, let me just talk about the URLs already. So the URLs will now be used to create routes for your pages. Okay, for example, if you need to go to about, then you hit the about route for your page, right? So these routes have not yet been created. That's why we are having that uh, error, which is fine. So that's the work of the URLs file, which will create. So the views is used to present. It's like the presentation layer has our functionalities and presents it, and then it's sent to the particular route that you use to view that on the browser. Okay, we have models and we have other stuff, but let's take it gradually, right? So all you need now is the templates, which holds our static files, our HTML files, and we have our views and URLs. So that should be done. So now let's go ahead and create views. So open the views. Notice that there is no view here. So the views is actually in the apps, right? So we have this code already. I can remove that. And so we want to create a function. Remember how to create functions in Python? Simple like this, pass, right? So we want to create a function, and this is request. We want this function to be able to handle our index page. That's the home page. I can just comment that home page. Okay, excuse my spelling. So this has request, and we want to return something like print, how we used to print hello world, but this time we want to return render, and we want to render a page with this request called in request. Let me make this smaller yet again. Okay, and where the file is. So which file do we want to render? Actually, this file. The file is, we are already inside of front end, right? The same directory. So Django already understands templates. So all you need to care about is this folder, this directory, and index. So we just type front end / index dot html, and that's it. You are done. Okay, so once you are done with that, that's all we need for our views.py. Now notice that this render has to be imported up here. Django already does that for us, and this request is passed to this function, right? So Yeah, so that's all about it for views. So the next step will be to work with our URLs. So we need to set up URLs. That one is a bit tricky, but it's better you do it right the first time. So the thing is, here is the original URLs file. So let me close this front end and open this. So this is the original URL file. And please bypass all these long comments. So this is the original, typically, this is the original file. So we could have different pages here, right? But maybe we have normal, and then we have our home page definitions with views here for home page, right? And here we have for about and for contact and other pages, right? Yeah, and all the pages, including edit, updates, put, delete, and other pages for growth manipulations. But do you know what problem we will soon face? This file will grow into thousands of lines, okay, especially for large projects, because all the URLs are placed in one place. And the issue would be that it will not be manageable. It will no longer be maintainable. So it will be difficult for you to find URLs when you need them. Okay, if you run into errors, then it will be really difficult for you to sort them out here on this file because of how cumbersome it will look. So Django advises we separate concerns. Okay, so by doing that, we have, instead of having all the patterns, all the URLs in one file, we actually point the URLs to each of the apps, So each app should have its own URL. So let's create one for front end. So I close company and open front end and right click on it. Okay, it's either you right click on it and choose a new file or new folder, or you click on it and choose this new file. So we have URLs with s.py, right? So we have that files now. So on the real company URLs file, you need a way of pointing to that front end or whichever app's URL file. Okay, so to do that, we already have everything in place. Let me remove these other lines, and we don't need this admin, right? So what we need is an empty route there to point to our front end, which will carry our index. So we have include. We need to import include. So we need include here. So path and include. Let me make this smaller still. So we need path and include, right? So we are able to import and use that include here. So once you write include, open brackets and close, and we have front end. That is, we are referencing these URLs, front end or URLs, right? Front end or URLs. So front end dot URLs. Okay, so we add this line. Okay, so one other thing we'll do is okay, all right, so let's leave this for now as it is. So so once we do that, what we need to do now is to go to our front end app. Okay, and we may need to copy some things here. So let's just copy to make it faster, but they are not entirely the same, okay? So for the specific apps now, I mean, we have created the stuff there. We have created the URLs.py file there. So for the specific file now, um, we need to import. This is fine. This is fine, but admin is not fine. Here we are supposed to remove the admin. We don't need the admin for now, right? We'll talk about that later so that it won't be confusing. So we remove the admin as well here. Okay. And here we don't need include. So we have path there, and we have we need these views. Okay. So the views is inside front end. So we will import it here in the front end. So we from all from this directory, that's what that dot means. From this directory, import views. Okay, so we import views there so that you'll be able to access the functions inside of the views. For example, the index function. Okay, so um, so here we need to modify the URLs pattern, and we need this, and we remove this include. So what we need actually now is to point to that views. So we have views.index. It already shows us the function. And the last but not the least is just to have name is equal to index. So we can reference this later in our code if we want, right? So this is what will set up that file for you, and everything looks good. Everything looks good. So so what else? I think if we refresh that page, voila, so everything is here now. So we have our page rendered. Okay. So once we set up our URL, set up our views, set up our templates as the index, everything looks good. So I can just change this text. Everything looks good so that you see that it works. Looks good. Okay. So I can also try to style this and say background color yellow, which is Z6 color. Okay. And let's try to put this in H1 and make it look fanciful. Make it look fanciful. Okay, so if we try that, so everything looks good from Django. Okay, so this is where we want to draw a curtain today, and I hope you really enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and continue to look forward to other interesting and insightful videos from Z6. Okay, we are here to simplify everything that looks difficult. So don't mind us. We are typically producing videos for very fundamentals and foundation courses. We will put up something very advanced before. I am an advanced developer, so most things I would prepare would be for advanced stuff. But I realize that if you don't have a good foundation, if you don't have the solid foundation, if the foundation is faulty, then no matter how high you have gone, you will surely not get something. So we had to go back to begin at the beginning, okay, at the very genesis. So that's what we are doing now. Once we see that we have videos in stock for all our beginner courses and foundational courses, then we'll move on to intermediate, and of course to advanced. Things like data structures are things I love so much, and I use it in everyday life. And all the complexities, all the typical difficult things, we will bring them down and explain it in layman language so that you get it step by step upward. Okay, so please do well to drop a comment, leave a comment, like, and visit our website z6.com. Okay, subscribe to the channel. You can buy books and resources from Z6 as well. They are free and paid resources, very wonderful resources from Z6. We hope to see you soon. Thank you. So the next part for this video will be, for this tutorial series, will be available as soon as possible. Then we are not leaving, we are not stopping the series for Python at that stage. It's too early. So we'll continue about 10 more videos for Python tutorial. So do well to check out those tutorials to have a foundation on Python first before coming to this tutorial. Thank you very much. I love you all. Yeah, bye.